Barcelona. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the quarterfinals of GP Barcelona. You're in the booth with Riley Knight, and alongside me, it's my good friend and colleague, the Pro Tour Hall of Famer, Rafael Levy. Raf, so good to have your company. Federico Del Basso and Peter Sochurek here. It seemed to be the first up we'll be looking into here. And, of course, the matchup, the one we have been discussing all weekend, it is, of course, Madu versus four-color Sahili.
And all four quarterfinals are Madu against four-color Copycat.
Yes, so we had 4 copies of Madu vehicles, or Madu Ballista, in the top 8. We have 4 copies of four-color Copycat, and no mirror matches. We managed to thread the needle on that one. So we've got 4 examples of this matchup, which is just critical for Standard moving forward. These are the titans of the format. These are the decks to beat.
So if you want to know what's best in the matchup, just follow the quarterfinals.
This is going to be
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell everyone. This is going to be a good exemplar here of the way that this format is shaping up. Speaking of exemplars, of course, we've got the Toolcraft exemplar getting in for 3 very early on for Federico Del Basso. He follows that up with a Thraben Inspector. Peter Sochurek with an Oath of Chandra. He's saying, oh no, excuse me, please not. I don't want this exemplar around any longer. We've seen an uptick in the number of oaths this weekend. Oath of Liliana, Oath of Chandra, and of course Oath of Nissa. They've all made it around the tables.
No Oath of Gideon, no Oath of Jace.
Not quite, no. Another exemplar coming down for Del Basso. No third land for him. That could spell trouble here, Rafael Levy.
There's a third land and even a fourth land in
Sochurek's hand here.
Yeah.
He's considering his options because he can go up to 3, and it's so important in these early turns to make sure you don't stumble. The Madu deck, we've seen this weekend how vigorously it can punish those who fall behind. The punishment has been pretty brutal at some times. So we'll see how Sochurek is going to navigate this after it seems like the Madu deck is the one stumbling. Rogue Refiner's coming down.
That's good. A good blocker. Good way to deal with the exemplar.
The exemplar, yes, trades very evenly now with that both of them being 3/2s.
Still no land.
And Del Basso unable to find this this third land. Jeez. Not good news for the Madu player, who has come out of the gates not as quickly as I think he would like to. And Sochurek has been able to utilize every last drop of mana here, putting it to great effect. We'll see how the game continues to pan out.
How is he on 10 life?
He's taken a beating from a Toolcraft exemplar twice.
Yeah. Perhaps
it should be 3 higher, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's on 10. The 10 seems very low. It's turn 4. It's Federico's turn 4. So he attacks for 3 on turn 2.
And then 4. So yeah, I think he's on 13.
Actually, he should be on more than that.
Well, 16 even. Okay, so that Toolcraft exemplar before only getting in once.
Yeah, okay.
I see. We've got the explanation now. In my ear, I'm hearing Rashad Miller explaining that the 6 on the life pad looked like a 0.
All right.
So we got that spaghetti handwriting down in the feature match here, unfortunately.
Emerald's not dead. He's around. Counting life. Writing the 0s as 6s.
Well, that's right. Now we see the Rogue Refiner finished off here by the Fatal Push after having blocked that Thraben Inspector. Turning on Revolt, of course, and Del Basso looking to get as much out of his deck as possible here. See Fatal Push on the screen there. Already made a bit of a splash in Modern, finding its way into the very competitive 1-mana removal slots there amongst Lightning Bolt, Path to Exile and the like. And here's Chandra, the Torch of Defiance. This is going to be a huge issue now as Del Basso is left without a board. He's got a single clue token and 2 lands. I tell you what, he's in a sticky situation here. Inspiring Vantage off the top for him. And having taken 2 from the Oath of Chandra as well. We see Walking Ballista finish off Chandra, and she hits the bin. So Del Basso desperately keeping his head above water, a concerned look on his face as you see him survey the battlefield. Soccerek, he's got a decent grip, I would say.
He has a choice between playing Sally Rye or a tracker without a land.
Not the most attractive proposition. Tyler's tracker has been around for a while, and we've all seen how effective it can be when you follow up.
Oh, he
immediately
does
with
have a land. He does have.
Oh, there's a little planes hanging out in the middle there. Yes, yes.
A little one.
Just a smaller planes. There's Walking Ballista. Useful way to deal with planeswalkers, of course, especially when they're on lower loyalty. Come down, ping off the final 1 or 2 points of damage. We see this very often with cards like Chandra. Come down and they flame slash something, leaving her behind with just 1 loyalty. And Del Basso choosing to snag that opportunity to get rid of the Torch of Defiance. It's going to be, as you say,
Tracker.
The tracker. And here comes
Use
a clue token
right away
as well.
So it doesn't die to a shock.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the 4th land.
He's going to play tapped. Such a tilting feeling to play a fast land as your 4th land. How many worse feelings than that?
A very slow land.
Very slow. Slow land. Glacial land. So Soccerek now. 3 cards in his hand. Could be 4. It is 4. Is that 2 copies of Saheeli Rai there?
Yep.
And an Oath of Nissa joining them amongst what looks like a Harness Lightning. Here is Oath of Nissa. Bit of a Ponderino here for Soccerek.
This should be a card that says if you have all 5 oaths.
Yeah.
Until
Well,
you win the game.
Now. There are 6. Johnny's also added his name to the Gatewatch.
Yeah. If you have all 6, or maybe they're missing another one.
Maybe there's. I think we're going to see more and more oaths as we continue.
Like if you have the whole Gatewatch,
I'm looking forward to
you win the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can't lose the game.
If you control a number of oaths equal to the number of current members of the Gatewatch, it's continually updating.
Yeah.
Rogue Refiner off the Oath of Nissa. And Soccerek considering his next move here. Saheeli Rai in hand, in addition to the newly drawn Rogue Refiner there. An unlicensed Disintegration, leaving Soccerek's board nice and empty here for Del Basso. It's going to be a Whirler Virtuoso. Soccerek up to 8 mana. Or 8 energy, I should say, in his reserve.
I like how the 12-sided die.
Yeah, that was bugging me too. It does have the number 8 on it. He could be using that. Here's Whirler Virtuoso, as you can see. It's been a staple in many of these Teemo-based decks. Not only the copycat decks, but also, of course, the Aetherworks Marvel decks and the Tower decks as well.
So these decks did not make it to the top 8.
No, they did not. And again, touching back on what we said, I mean, it's been great this weekend to showcase some of the different decks in Standard. We've had a look at Green-Black. We've seen some Dynavolt Tower decks. We've even seen Black-Red Eldrazi decks, all sorts of stuff going up and down the top tables. But at the end of the day, it has very clearly come down to this matchup here. And this quarterfinal series is a great opportunity for us to explore that further, this matchup in depth. And, I mean, there's a lot of... Game tends to cop a lot of flack in situations like this, but I think there's a lot to be gained in situations where there is an opportunity to go in deeper to this sort of stuff. We can find out the key cards in this matchup. We can figure out more and learn more about the game in this format through experiences like this. Again, I've said this throughout the weekend. I don't think that people who are throwing a whole lot of shade in situations like this are adding a lot to the conversation. Pianalar, the play here, or the lonely Pianalar, mother of Chandra, comes down, adds a Thopter to the battlefield as well. Del Basso has a instant presence. But away she goes.
To the Feather Guardian. And we know he has 2 copies of Saheeli Rai in hand.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky here for Del Basso to find a way out of there. There is one half of the combo, of course. Splinter Twin 2.0. It's not really Splinter Twin 2.0. Splinter Twin 0.2, I think is probably a better way to put it. Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Rai finishing a game off at a moment's notice. quick as blinking. That'll happen. And Soccerek is in a good position.
So he doesn't actually need the combo to win here. But I think he's still going to go for it.
You certainly go for it, and if it doesn't work, continue to put pressure on with the creatures in play.
Especially since he has another Sahili Rai.
Yeah.
So if Federico has a shock, it doesn't work. Oh, well, it will work. If he has an unlicensed disintegration, it will not work. But still, Soccerek has some backup.
So, Soccerek not having to worry about colours here, thanks to that Oath of Nissa. He can cast the Saheelis any way he likes. What's the play here, my man? Are we going to see him go for it?
I don't know if it's really worth it.
In what sense?
Does he have a Rogue Refiner? Is Rogue Refiner the last card? Yeah, it is.
Rogue
I think
Refiner.
just play more dudes, and
So
wait,
2 energy and a card.
wait for your opponent to either tap out or like just lose.
Well, I mean,
something
this is the thing. He's got an overwhelming presence here on the battlefield. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of creatures, and he can continue to pressure Del Basso the traditional way. But what are the reasons for not going for the combo?
Because
here?
if he plays Sahili right here, and he's facing unlicensed disintegration, he will lose both the Guardian and the Sahili, and he's not going further in the game. Like, he's not extending his presence in the game.
Okay. Whereas an unlicensed disintegration here would just deal with a creature and wouldn't be too further punishing.
bad. Yeah.
I see.
But now he's just playing another creature. If he had nothing else, if the Rogue Refiner was a land, maybe that would have been an option. But just playing the Rogue Refiner,
Yeah.
he had it.
And look at that, unlicensed disintegration. So as you say, that would be a stone cold 2-for-1 there in the hands of Del Basso. Would Soccerek would have gone against that? Of course, the overwhelming instinct is to just jam the combo, win the game on the spot.
He didn't have to. Like, now he doesn't have to. If he was facing more pressure and he was like dying next turn or something,
Might have to risk it to get that biscuit.
Now he's facing Needle Spire.
Yeah. Looks like the biscuit's going to come to him here.
Yeah,
Here we see the post-combat Sahili Ray. Not something we see very often, especially when you've had the Felidar Guardian in play.
So now he has more options. He can either just ping and gain like 4 life pretty much, because Federico will have to attack it, or just ignore it and...
Well, we're going to see here, go upstairs. Scry 1
He's
damage
probably
to Del
going to ignore
Basso.
it since Soccerek is at like 6. If you could see how much energy he has, that would be great.
Try to get that sorted out, get them to move that energy reserve down into the visible portion of the screen here. So Soccerek tapped out. There you can see
5. So he has blockers. He has blockers in the form of Thopters.
Thopter and Rogue Refiner here. And we've got a Thraben Inspector joining the party as well. Welcome along to you, Thraben Inspector. Real workhorse of Standard, this lady. She's been around again, just since the very beginning. It's a little 1-2 that could. There she is, checking something out. Got a handful of seaweed, it looks like.
So on 7 life, can he close the game here? There's a Shambling Vent. So what did he copy? Sorry, I missed that.
Del Basso copied a Whirl of Virtuoso as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Del Basso cracks
That's
a clue.
fine. All right. So 4 energy, another...
Oh, no, sorry, the Rogue. It was the
Rogue.
Rogue Refiner.
Okay.
The Rogue Refiner.
So he gets 2 energy.
2 energy and a card.
So now he can play another Sahili copied another refiner, or just this guy.
Or just this guy here. There we go. Simple.
Or just this guy.
Simple as that. That's how it was written up fair there for Socherek. And unfortunately for Del Basso, unable to really get his snoot into that game. Stumbled early on mana. Didn't put the pressure on. Gave Socherek a chance to play at his cards. But impressive stuff from Socherek. He played that very calm, very tidily. And a good reward for him picking up the early W.
Yeah, I like the not rushing the combo.
Mm-hmm. We move on now to another table, and it is once again Mardu Vehicles up against 4-color copycat. Mikel Castro, the copycat in question here, as Marcio Carvalho is piloting his vehicles, and he is about to get stuck in with his 2 Scrap Heap Scroungers. Looks like Castro's already in a good spot here with a Sky Sovereign and an active Chandra. Carvalho, however, putting on the pressure.
So worth noting that Socherek won on the draw, so he if he loses, he will be on the play for game 3, which is very relevant.
He really upset the apple cart. That's right, because Mardu is a deck that definitely benefits, definitely prefers going first. So Castro figuring out how he's going to deal with these Scroungerinos here. What has he got to say about them? In his hand, he has the actual combo, a Felidar Guardian and a Saheeli Ray. Carvalho with what looks like 3 cards in hand.
He has a Disintegration, a land, and something else, I think.
Okay. Yes, indeed. There we go. 3 cards. So Castro lines up some blocks. From this sort of position, certainly you'd think Castro's in a commanding position here.
He's on 11. He's not facing a terrible amount of, a huge amount of pressure. So he's carefully not crewing his boat.
Well, at the moment, yes, Sky Sovereign is probably the biggest threat on the table, if maybe not that, then the Chandra.
Oh, Ballista.
Walking Ballista is going to ping off the last final point of damage there on the Guardian. Coming in with 2 counters and removing one of them to get rid of the cat. And Castro has 5 mana, 7 mana with Chandra, and the ability to play out the combo.
But against the Walking Ballista, it's not going to be too good.
Not going to be.
But he has a Chandra that can ping the Walking Ballista, so that shouldn't be a problem.
So with another land, then he could deploy the combo.
I think he needs to be a little more tricky than that, a little trickier than that.
Okay.
He's facing only 1 card. That's the only thing that can go again. They can go wrong. So maybe if he, let's see. There are a lot of things he can do here.
Yeah.
He can play the Guardian, and he can use Chandra, kill something or get 2 mana, play Felidar Guardian, use the Chandra again, then activate the boat. Oh, I don't know. There are too many things.
A lot of moving pieces here in this little puzzle.
I don't know what I would do. I think, I would +1. Okay.
It's going to be a flame slash here, and it's going to be on the Walking Ballista.
See, 1 to your face.
Not redirecting it to Chandra.
So now if he plays the Filidar's Guardian, it's going to meet a Disintegration.
Carvalho definitely representing something in his hand.
Not even sure, because there's the boat as well. This is very hard to analyze from here.
So we have the Felidar Guardian come down.
So what do you target? Target Chandra. All right, gonna play the.
So from this point, if Marcio Carvalho were to just F6, Castro could put the Saheeli Ray into play.
Yeah. But I think he needs to kill something here, because if he doesn't kill he has more.
Unlicensed Disintegration here is going to kill the Guardian in response to its own trigger.
I was about to say no, he doesn't have enough creatures to crew, but he has the Virtuoso, and we can see he has some energy to make a token.
So Sky Sovereign comes across, deals 3 to the Scrap Heap Scrounger. So both players losing a lot of resources there. That, excuse me, that Unlicensed Disintegration very tidily dealing a nice little 2-for-1 for Carvalho.
Maybe we can have the energy token move down a little bit.
Once again, needing that energy token. I think it's...
We need to have it like stuck on the board.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Castro down to 5 now. 2 energy in his pool.
Oh, he had only 2, so he couldn't make a token. So that makes a huge difference. Now next turn he's going to have a Scrap Scoundrel back. So Marcio on 10. Can he close the game with Saheeli? What can Saheeli do? He cannot make a... He can make a copy of the Virtuoso. So from that he will get enough creatures to crew the Sky Sovereign, and he will also get energy to make a token to block the Spire.
So Saheeli Rai cast off of 2 forests and an Ether Hub thanks to the Oath of Nissa.
5
goes up to 5 energy now, and then down to 2 to make a Thopter.
Crew the boat, attack and kill the... Oh wow, that's aggressive.
Wow,
that's aggressive.
Shoot that Toolcraft Exemplar.
Isn't he dead? Oh no, the Oath of Chandra.
An Oath of Chandra is going to clean things up there. Otherwise, yes, that Needle Spires could have come across.
He's dead on board. Oh no. Did he just play Saheeli this turn?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, so then he then he wins. Because then it's going to trigger. Oath of Chandra triggers.
Oath of Chandra triggers,
all right, I missed
so the Oath of Chandra, a nice one there. A little confusing, however, because, of course, Saheeli Rai entered the battlefield before the Oath of Chandra. But the Oath of Chandra will still trigger because it checks the whole turn.
Very well played.
Yeah, really good stuff there from the 4-color copycat player there. He's done well to get his get on the scoreboard. But it's now back to Federico Del Basso and Pedro Sochurek here. And Del Basso off to the races now with a Thraben Inspector. Game trail to play for Sochurek. It's coming into play untapped.
It's a nice hand on Federico's side.
What are we looking at here?
Painful Truth. Your favorite?
My favorite.
Yeah.
Alert.
That's
and an Authority of the Consuls. There we go.
I love this card.
Yeah.
I don't like this card now anymore.
There you go. Raphael's brief love affair with the card Authority of the Consuls is
I used to like it
gone.
About 10 seconds ago.
Yeah. You see Authority of the Consuls there. It does turn off the Saheeli combo in a very major way. And a nice way to buffer that life total as well. Natural state, however, than the natural answer to the Authority of the Consuls. And we're going to see the Oath of Chandra also answering this Thraben Inspector.
That's your favorite card.
Painful Truths. 1, 2, and 3. Let's go. Is there a better number of cards to draw? There is not.
4.
Incorrect.
5.
Also false. 3 cards, 3 mana. Doesn't get better than that. Well, it does get better than that. You can pay 1 mana for 3 cards. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Painful Truths, a fantastic card. Not a card we see a lot of in the main decks. I mean, in sideboards it can come out. It sort of occupies the same kind of role as something like an Obnixilis, where, it can do a lot of work, and against these control decks or slower matchups. Control deck, perhaps the wrong way to say it. There isn't much of a control deck floating around standard at the moment.
So going for Saheeli here. What does Saheeli do? Is that another Painful Truth?
I can see a Nahiri in his hand.
Oh, yeah, that's the second Painful Truth.
There's a second Painful Truth here.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at how this game may have been changed by these players sideboarding. Here's a Walking Ballista for 2. Federico Del Basso, after board, does have access to some pretty interesting options. And you're right in saying there are 2 Painful Truths. 2 Painful Truths in the board here. 1 copy of Authority of the Consuls. We've seen that get eaten up already. There's Walking Ballista on your screen, currently with 2 counters. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, Fumigate, Fatal Push, Oath of Liliana, Oath of Chandra, Anguish Unmaking, A couple of other little one-ofs there in Anguished Unmaking, Archangel Avacyn and Nahiri. So Del Basso got the opportunity to open up his list in a pretty big way here, and I do like seeing those 2 copies of Painful Truths, not just from a personal perspective, but in a situation where, you know, you don't have to worry about your life total so much, but you do need to keep the gas coming. Definitely worse cards to play. Felidar Guardian comes down, and the value machine keeps on turning its engine over. But the Walking Ballista has got something to say about that.
The clue is still
Clue's still just hanging out
still
there.
around, yeah. Buff.
Unlicensed Disintegration. Get this out of here.
No room for counterspell. Does he play negate or dispels?
Yes, so both Dispel and Negate in the sideboard of Soturek as a 2-of in both situations. Sky Sovereign, Natural State, Release the Gremlin's Tailless Tracker, and Walking Ballista.
Manic Vandal.
Rounding out the 15. Manic Vandal indeed, as the Release the Gremlins for 1 creates a 2/2 and destroys the artifact on the other side of the battlefield.
Like, you know, this play is very aggressive. Like playing Release the Gremlin on the clue. With this, you can know what Better is holding. If you're Federico, you know he's holding another one. There's no way he would release the Gremlin a clue if he didn't have another one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would play it on the clue.
Well,
if I don't have another way to deal with a Sky Ship, a Sky Sovereign, I don't think I would play it.
Well, the Gremlin's going to come in any case. And a Wheel of Virtuoso now for Soturek. Back to Del Basso. He checks in with the top of his library. What can he find there?
He has an Avacyn in his hand.
Oh, yes. 5 cards in hand, 5 mana open. You know what that means.
Yeah, I have nothing.
What's
Go.
Avacyn time? Unlucky draws. Unlucky draws. It's Avacyn time, ladies and gentlemen. Del Basso does have just an absolute huge hand of cards there. There is Archangel Avacyn. She has sort of fallen off the position she once had as Queen of the Skies in Standard, but we've seen a little bit of an uptick in her popularity recently. We see at the other side of the card there, devastating against strategies that rely on flooding the board. A nice way to close out a game as well with that direct damage that it can do. So now, I think are we still in Del Basso's end step here?
I think so, yeah.
Because he shipped the turn as far as I'm aware. So Soturek thinking about it, it was considering making a Thopter or not. Looks like we are going to see the old Thopterino. You can see the spectators behind Soturek there, keeping an eye on the way the finals pan out. Many of the players here also choosing to play in side events or some of the other stuff that's going on here at the GP. We've benefited from a pretty great venue right in the middle of Barcelona this weekend. It's been nice to enjoy some warm weather, get away from the grey skies of the European winter, come down to sunny Spain. And I know many players who have made the journey were very glad to be enjoying that Spanish sunshine.
Indeed.
Indeed, indeed. Thopter comes across.
So that's going to be interesting. What is Federico going to do? Because he might be facing Harness Lightning. So we're just going to ping it.
Shoot it out of the sky.
Yep. And he doesn't have to play Avacyn here. Actually, like playing Avacyn would just lose the turn. I think he might want to bait a little bit by either killing the Virtuoso, for example, with the disintegration.
Let's have a chat about what else is in Del Basso's hand. He's chucking those cards around at the speed of light, but there is an unlicensed disintegration in there.
Yeah, Avacyn is not...
And
Avacyn doesn't do enough here, I think.
There's also a Painful Truth, and we're going to see the unlicensed disintegration. Not the 3 damage going upstairs to Soturek here.
And now he's gonna call for the Harness Lightning, I think.
Harness Lightning being brought to the front of Soturek's hand.
Yeah, well, he has 2, so...
So it's what, 50-50?
Yeah.
Well, of course.
I like that play. I like the. And now, Peter is saying, "Well, I don't have a disintegrator or a way to kill your ballista.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, I would have played it, but he does. So
Interesting little mind games going back and forth here.
I like the way this game is played from both sides.
Yeah, super intriguing stuff.
I think they're like testing the waters a little bit. Like I'm playing this end of turn, not deploying the whole power.
4 mana now. What's the play? It's a Nahiri.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. It's been around for a while. I just forgot about it.
Hanging out for a huge amount of time here. She's going to come down. And straight up to 6 loyalty by the look of things. And Del Basso discarding a Heart of Kieran here.
Wow.
And drawing
you know what that means. That means like he had the good read. He knows Peter has released the Gremlins.
Has to release the Gremlins. Yeah.
That he is not going to be able to play it.
Wow. Yeah.
I think that's a great play.
Super prescient stuff here as we see the Harness Lightning finally come down the end step.
I think that's great magic here.
Del Basso leaving up 2 mana here, although I don't know if he's got anything to utilize it.
No, he doesn't have a clue anymore. But I don't think he's going to use his shock to kill the Gremlin. I think he's going to have it as an entrance.
Yeah, and so here Nahiri can just be so hard to remove from the battlefield when her loyalty is just insane. She gains so much loyalty so quickly. Going up to 6 and then gaining an extra 2 every turn.
So now he's the choice between playing Painful Truth and Chandra. He can actually play Chandra and Painful Truth for 2.
That's very true, yes, with a Rite of Flame effect.
That's super true. It's painfully true.
It's painfully true. In this case, it's going to be 3 more cards, so Del Basso
down to 9.
Chucking cards at himself from the top of his library. Down to 9 life, but geez, look at that grip. How many cards he got? 500,000 in his hand.
Yeah, is he gonna go ahead with his plan and
he's got 5 cards in hand.
Discard his Heart of Kieran. I think he can actually play his Heart of Kieran if he has the Avacyn backup.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So but no, away it goes. He's got the soul read.
Yeah, no, that's very good. The only reason he would have kept the Heart of Kieran is if he had the Avacyn backup. So if he has enough mana to do everything, he goes Heart of Kieran, go. Then Peter plays Release the Gremlins.
Yeah.
Play Avacyn. Trigger on the stack. Crew the Heart of Kieran. Becomes indestructible. You get a Gremlin, but I don't lose my my vehicle.
The Gremlin still comes despite...
Yeah, it's still around.
Yeah.
But you'll still keep the 4/4 flyer. And with Peter on 12 only, that might be just fast enough.
Yeah, chucking stuff up into the air is a big way, especially with the fact that Del Basso has 2 Planeswalkers, one on the battlefield, one in hand. That means the Heart of Kieran is not going to want for crew members here. Small earthquake at the venue there. Passes quickly.
So now he can actually shock it, because he has another way. He drew an Anguished Unmaking. That means he's not going to lose to the combo.
Sky Sovereign goes straight at Nahili here.
Okay.
Nahiri, Saheeli. To Keely. Del Basso. Again with just the fullest grip you can imagine after 2 copies of Painful Truths.
Now he's going to start discarding like Gideons and stuff. So is he killing the boat with Anguished Unmaking? Peter only has 1 card in hand. Oh, 2 cards. It's 3 cards. Never mind.
3 cards.
But he knows about the release.
Well, he's certainly been playing around it. There is the console flagship. The lightning bolt that can do it all here.
Do you discard a land? Yeah.
So discards an Inspiring Vantage and draws a Pia Nala.
That's pretty good.
Not a bad one there for Del Basso. As he ships it back to software.
Oh, yeah. 5 cards in hand. Oh, sorry. Only lands.
Yeah, all lands.
No, just not playing mine.
Let's keep discarding them.
I think I would have played something here.
Well, with 7 mana.
Yeah, I think I would have just played the Chandra. because it's not like Pet can like play something, crew the Sky Sovereign, and combo you out. This is just not possible. He just doesn't have the enough cards and enough mana to do that.
Servant of the Conduit.
Yeah, I think that's... Oops. Oh yeah, I have Gideon that I didn't want to play it.
And here is the much lauded Avacyn. The
There's-
Archangel.
There's probably a better way to sneak that one in. Oh no.
Well, as it is, it's come down as a 4/4 Flash Flying Vigilance. And now sitting behind an Avacyn and a Nahiri, Del Basso is going to look to turn the screws here on Sochurek.
So Avacyn is going to die this turn, most likely.
Okay.
Man, if Federico has another Avacyn,
So Sochurek is being attacked now by the Avacyn.
yeah,
Looks like she's going to be struck by a bolt of lightning.
yeah, Peter could have played his Harness Lightning on his turn, just to avoid a double Avacyn. Because if Federico has another Avacyn,
Yeah.
he can play it. The trigger still resolves. He keeps the old one, which is indestructible,
Mm.
and he still takes 4, which is pretty relevant at this point.
Oath of Chandra is going to get eaten up and exiled by Nahiri the Harbinger.
Why not?
And Chandra comes down and removes the Servant of the Conduit. So Del Basso looking at emptying Sochurek's side of permanence here. That Oath of Chandra can be problematic, especially in the face of when you're trying to defend
Yep.
Planeswalkers.
And it's not like Teamer decks where you have negates and this allows to counter Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Once a Planeswalker comes into play,
You're in big trouble.
you will be dealt 2 damage unless trigger is forgotten, but that doesn't happen.
Never happens. Except for the time that it did earlier on the stream yesterday.
today, it was
It was
last-
earlier today, sorry.
Yesterday.
Unfortunate situation there for the players involved, but we move on. So Sochurek, after having his battlefield sort of torn apart, is going to play this Felidar Guardian.
That's going to meet an Anguished Unmaking.
You might expect here, and yes indeed, so no extra rebuy of the trigger from the Sky Sovereign. That could have been devastating, removing either of those Planeswalkers there for Del Basso, but he's happy to trade another 3 life here to further his game plan. He's down to 6.
That's a very good one.
What's he drawing?
So he drew Walking Ballista. So he has a Chandra that can deal with the Federated Guardian right away. So he's probably going to take 2 mana, play another Chandra, kill the Federated Guardian, and then play Walking Ballista.
So there we see, yes, a Rite of Flame from Chandra number 1. The second one comes down.
Yeah. So
and
one is dead.
Flame slashes the,
maybe he
the
did.
Guardian.
He can play. I think he will play. He can play Gideon to start pressuring Petr. But I think he's probably going to play Ballista just as an insurance policy.
4 mana. What's it going to be? It is the Walking Ballista, so
He's so-
shooting from the hip,
yeah,
as ever,
he's-
Raphael Levy.
He's in total control here. He doesn't want anything bad to happen. Like the only way he feels he can lose this game is if he gets comboed off. But Walking Ballista prevents this.
Yeah, it's a nice little insurance policy to make sure that doesn't happen. And Del Basso sitting behind these 2 Planeswalkers, he's got to feel confident about his chances. Again, this is just about plugging the leaks. You know,
Oh.
Gideon would put a lot of pressure on, a lot more pressure than the Walking Ballista, but it means that Del Basso is in a much better position to answer, again, as you're saying, this combo. Oath of Chandra renders that all irrelevant, however, as the Walking Ballista is forced to shoot off its arsenal at Sochurek's face.
How many cards does Sochurek has?
In hand, looks like 1,
Is
could be
it 1?
2.
If it's 1, he knows what it is.
Oh, release the Gremlins.
Yeah.
He put him on that ages ago, didn't he? Yeah.
If it's only 1, then he can. Well, he has to. He doesn't have any other cards. Any other card anyway. So he just has to play everything. Oh, he can still attack with the. He can also attack with the.
Oath of Chandra there on your screen,
The
the one
needle.
that took care of the Walking Ballista. And again, useful in combating opposing Planeswalkers. Right now, as you could see, He could knock out the Chandra on the other side. That's a huge flavour violation, but of course something that could still very much take place. Del Basso's going to rummage.
Yeah.
Discarding Needle Spires. What can he draw? Another Planeswalker. It was the Gideon, I think. So he's really, really pumping it up here. As we have Needle Spires go over the top. Knocking Soccerek down to 4. Or was it just down to 8? Down to 7. Okay, down to something. Down to enough for Soccerek to realise that the game is up. Del Basso happily takes the second game, and that one was
that was a good game.
Yeah, it was
a
good
very good
game.
game.
And this is some of the intricacy that you can see here. I mean, even if this wasn't haymaker over the top sort of magic, we had a lot of very deft plays here.
I like that. I like the not high makers. I like the little decisions.
Yeah.
The things that, you know what, at the end of the game, the players would come to you and say, oh, well, he drew this, I lost.
Yeah.
But that's not, if you watch the game, it's not at all what happened.
Yeah.
The little advantage here and there.
Discarding Heart of Kiran.
Discarding Heart of Kiran, putting him on the release. Not saying, oh, yeah, I had a Heart of Kiran and, oh, well, he had the release to kill it. No, you could have discarded it. And this is a lot
finding a way out of it. And I mean, you know, there are any number of other things that we could explore about that game, but that one with the release of the Gremlins is a really good one because Soccerek ended the game with that in hand. He effectively thought seized it.
Yeah.
It was effectively it wasn't there. Like the card just wasn't there because of the way that Del Basso played. So congratulations to him in picking up that that first win in game number 1. Game number 2, I should say. And now it's back to Miguel Castro and Marcio Carvalho. So Castro has taken game number 1. Looks like we've got things stalled out and a lot of Planeswalkers in play here for Carvalho. Castro applying pressure with a Whirl of Virtuoso, but right now it's all about Carvalho and what he's going to do with this turn. A couple of oaths in play for both players here. Cool to see the uptick in the oaths that have been appearing throughout this weekend.
We had the Oath of Liliana for the Pro Tour.
Yeah,
really liked it. I think that's where Elliot thought of it. We had it for the green-black matchup, and from there he worked to get the Elliot Busso, the one who the player who designed the deck, Samuel Vuyo, one with 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and the version people are playing right now, very close to that version. We had the Oath of Liliana, and we didn't think back at the Pro Tour to add the Oath of Chandras as well, which was probably a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but an omission.
An omission.
An unfortunate omission.
Yes, well, with the number of Planeswalkers running around the top tables, all of those Oath cards are really powered up. Here is Thalia, the Heretic Cathar. And we're going to see an attack with the Gideon now. So Castro's creatures and non-basic lands will come into play tapped as he continues to find his way out of this situation. And in his hand, looks like a Harnessed Lightning.
And the Feldar Guardian.
Feldar Guardian, all right. And we're going to see a Harnessed Lightning immediately on the Heretic Cathar. Castro not interested in mucking around with that card.
Chump block from Thopter.
It looks like it, yes. That was why the Thalia was removed, as Castro goes down to 1 energy. So Thopter has flown in, buzzed in very briefly, held up Gideon as he's gone to attack Castro, got him to try to sign some kind of charity form or something, and delayed him long enough to mean that he wasn't able to get across for 4.
Has he used his Chandra yet? Yeah. Has he played a land? I don't know.
I think he has used the Chandra. When he untapped, it was on 4.
Okay. Oh, he cracked a clue.
He had a Gideon on 2 and a Chandra on 4. He has indeed activated. Did he play a land? Is the next question that I have for you, Raphael Levy.
I don't know.
I couldn't say for sure. No.
I think we caught the action on his. No, on his.
No, he's definitely activated the Chandra. As we see a judge remonstrating now with Marcio Carvalho.
Oh wow. And then count the clue. count the activation.
So counting up how many turns we are into this game, how many cards Carvalho has, whether he's played a land here. Maybe eagle-eyed viewers in the chat may have noticed exactly how many lands Carvalho had as we untapped for his turn. Certainly wasn't something that I took notice of. If you played a land, it would have had to be one of the Spires of Industry, because all the other lands would have come into play untapped. Or sorry, they would have come into play tapped.
Yeah.
So is this...
I would not be able to say.
As this issue continues to be resolved here by those by the judges on hand, I'm still not drawing too many conclusions about the way that this matchup goes. What are some of the key things to keep in mind as we look at the Mardu versus the Copycat list? As we open up this game here with Del Basso and Sokorek, what are you looking for in the early turns?
It's complicated. I've seen this matchup like 20 times already, and feels like when the Mardu has a good draw, a good starting hand and a good draw, it's tougher for the Copycat deck to come back. But when the Copycat deck has control over the board and is at enough life not to lose to burn spells, then they're fine.
So a lot of it is about aggression that'll be put on by the Mardu decks. If they get off to a good start, if they're able to apply early pressure, that's what's going to dictate the course of the game?
I guess so. And then if they can have control over the Planeswalkers, I think there are a lot of elements to this matchup. That's why it's probably... who said that? I think I talked to Pierre Dagen earlier today, and he said, look, everybody has the same deck. Or maybe it wasn't Pierre. I had this conversation with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, everybody has the same deck, but not everybody sideboards the same way. And this is the key to winning in this format, how to sideboard. If you understand how the matchup works, you'll know exactly the right strategy. But since your opponent is going to sideboard maybe a different strategy, it's going to be a mind game. And the more intuition you have to know exactly what your opponent's going to do is going to give you the edge. That's what gives you the edge in this format, I believe. And he was right. Whoever I talked to about this issue,
whether it was Pierre Dagen or someone else,
I think he was right,
they had the keys to the kingdom there. So, Unlicensed Disintegration has taken care of that Felidar Guardian, also going 3 upstairs thanks to the Heart of Kiran. Servant of the Conduit and Oath of Nissa left in play. I did see that the Guardian managed to flicker the Oath of Nissa, meaning that Sokorek was able to pluck another card out of his library, a forest in this case. And Del Basso not applying a huge amount of pressure early on. Both of these players, of course, have sideboarded now in game number 3, so the comments you were making, Raphael Levy, about how important sideboarding is and what you sideboard against, what the cards you anticipate you're going to have to play with and against from your opponent, this is where it all comes into focus.
Yeah, like Release the Gremlins in game 2 was a dead card.
Yeah, because Del Basso made it so.
Yeah. But now the Basso said, well, I'm going to play my Heart of Kiran. Do you have it?
Yeah. Forest the play here for Sokorek. 5 mana available to him, but only 4 of it's going to be used now as we see Chandra, the Torch of Defiance, come down. Let's...
he used the Oath of Nissa.
Oath of Nissa is there, asking some questions about how Double Red spell was cast. And Whirl of Virtuoso now played off of the activation of Chandra's +1 ability, the second one, the Rite of Flame, adding double red to your mana pool.
That's a lot of stuff on Sokorek's side.
Yeah.
There's a Virtuoso that's good. There's a Chandra that's good. There's a Oath of Nissa that can turn into more
cards, yes.
More cards with a Feather Guardian.
Already sent it into the battlefield twice.
And I think Petre has a Feather Guardian and a Sahili in hand.
Oh, really?
It looks like it. I'm not sure. I know he has a Sahili.
Del Basso seems to have skipped lunch here as he starts to munch on his T-shirt.
Yeah, the good one. I think the blue ones are the tastiest.
A range of competitively priced food options here at GP Barcelona. The food trucks outside are excellent. So I'm not sure why he's choosing to go all culinary on his clothing, but that's the way that it seems to be panning out at this point. Federico Del Basso now With not much on the battlefield outside of this Heart of Kiran, we may see Piana La come down, yes indeed. And in the ultimate Flavor victory, she can, of course, crew the vehicle here, and she's going to do that. So again, the Flavor judges sitting in judgment of this game are going to be very impressed with that. That's certainly a strong play here from Del Basso from a Vorthos perspective.
He doesn't have the Guardian. He has Saheeli, Tracker, and Sanctum.
Oh, I see. Okay, so no Felidar Guardian sitting in the hand of Socherek just now. But we do have a Heart of Kiran sailing over.
Aye, Captain.
Blocked by one of the tokens here. A Thopter is made and dismissed. Quick as winking. And Del Basso finishes his turn up with a Thraben Inspector. Back to Socherek now. As you mentioned, Saheeli in hand, joined by a second one.
Yep.
As well as those other cards we were discussing. And now it's down to Socherek to find what his next move is. Double Saheeli, as we mentioned. Chandra also gives him another look at the top of his library here. Alternatively, can be used as a Flame Slash.
That's a tough spot. A lot of things to take into account.
Yeah, a lot of options, a lot of moving parts. And again, Socherek here now. The ball firmly in his court. 2 copies of Saheeli.
A Tracker and a Sanctum.
Tracker and a Botanical Sanctum. A lot of options.
So you can play Tracker, play a land, draw a card with Saheeli. Draw a card with the Clue, with the +1 of Chandra, which would be okay. Saheeli can copy something, but it will die. I don't think playing Saheeli is a very good option here.
Well, Sacherek's really having a good old think about it.
Yeah, I think
scratching that head.
I'll just +1 Chandra and see what's on top. That's also an option. Because now the Heart of Kiran is probably going to be it's going to take care of Chandra, thanks to the pumping ability from Pia. So is he giving up on Chandra this turn, or does he want to have a look at the next card and hopefully it's something good?
A lot of choices to be made here for Socherek. And it seems as though it's going to be...
He's going to draw a card. No, don't move the energy. Okay, let's try to keep track. He has the 1 energy.
1 energy.
Okay, so that's... Oh no, he's playing Saheeli instead.
All right, so tapping the forest for... or spending the mana generated by the forest as blue mana here. As we see Whirl of Virtuoso into the battlefield again. It's 4 energy now in the reserve of Socherek.
So that's the only way he can actually protect his Chandra this turn, because he's going to be able to make a token. And then with a 3 mana, he can play his Tracker and play a land. Yeah, that line works.
Yeah, not a bad one here. As
that line works.
Socherek continues to develop his board. And thinking about what attacks he can make. Just the lonely Thraben Inspector keep holding down the fort for Del Basso here. Got a bunch of permanents, but not a lot of them are doing much blocking at this stage. So here's the attack. That's 2 Whirl of Virtuosos and
6.
a Servant coming across for 6. And now it's 3 more mana. And
Tracker, play
Palace
land,
Tracker, land, just like you said.
Yeah, Saheeli to make a Virtuoso, but then Saheeli is gonna die. And Chandra, yeah, he's saving Chandra.
With another copy of Saheeli in hand, perhaps that's the reasoning there. There's Tireless Tracker you see on your screen. Another card that's experienced something of a of a fall from grace. She was one of the real cornerstones of the standard format over the last 6 months, but has recently kind of fallen out of favour a little bit.
Because Rogue Refiner kind of took its place.
Yeah.
At the 3-mana slot.
I think that the energy component of that just so critical.
And the instant draw.
The drawing a card straight away, even if you don't get to draw more than one.
So what's in Federico's hand? Oh, he has an unlicensed disintegration. So what he can do, he's going to be hit pretty hard on the attack back. But he can crew the Heart of Kiran's Pia and the Threat Inspector, attack Saheeli with the token, and attack Chandra with the Heart of Kiran. Pet is going to make a token, and Federico can disintegrate it, redirecting the 3 damage to Chandra, or not do that at all.
This is the other option here now, as we see unlicensed disintegration put to use almost immediately.
Oh yeah, there's a better option as well.
All right, what have you spotted?
The other option is to wait for Pet to make a token and sacrifice the clue to make it not block.
Yeah, I see, yes, the clue to the top of your screen there, just under the life totals.
That's just much better.
All right, well, as it is now, this unlicensed disintegration has been pointed at the Tireless Tracker, and 3 damage done to Chandra.
That's a million times better. Oh, well, that's...
Walking Ballista now comes into play. These three creatures jumping inside the Heart of Kiran.
Okay, that kind of works too.
So a lot of different approaches here that could have been taken by Del Basso, and he finds one that is going to rid the board of both Planeswalkers here. So a nice tidy end to the turn here for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Not sure about the last play though, because he basically traded his Walking Ballista for a clue. Oh wow, he just drew the Fielder Guardian. What?
Oh geez, just off the top. It's as simple as that. Blink and you'll miss it, ladies and gentlemen. Petr Sachurek goes through to the semis, and this demonstrates the nature of this standard format. I mean, sometimes you're just an absolute luck sack and you pluck the right card off the top of your deck, and that is the way that it goes. Federico Del Basso can't really believe it, but he knew what he signed up for coming into this tournament. He knew he was going to face off against this deck. But I tell you what, sometimes you grind it out with your Wheel of Virtuosos and your Rogue Refiners, and sometimes it's just free wins.deck as you pluck the combo from the top of your library. Congratulations to Petr Sachurek. We'll be seeing him in the semi-finals, of course, hosted by Matej Zadelkai and Richard Hagen, my friend, so stick around for that. But we've still got some questions that need answering with Riley Knight and Raphael Levy, the Pro Tour Hall of Famer, sitting to my right. And of course, we couldn't do it without you around the world, wherever you are. Thank you for choosing to join us as we have gone very, very deep in this standard format this weekend. We've seen decks of all stripes, but in the top 8, of course, 4 copies of 4-color Copycat, 4 copies of Mardu vehicles. This is the world we live in. This is the standard format that you need to contend with here. And this top 8 is going to be something of a masterclass in the way that this matchup pans out.
So Marcio on more than his opponent.
On a little bit more than his opponent here, as his opponent goes down. Miguel Castro goes down 1-1 here. So things equalize between these two players.
So we have
Carvalho
other results.
manages to wrap things up in game number 2. And it looks like we have results from the other tables. As soon as those are made obvious to us, we will be passing them on to you. But right now, it's game number 3 between these two players here. On our other tables, we had Mika Lipinski, who came at number 1 in the Swiss. Congratulations to him. Playing off against Inigo Vallejo. We don't have a result from that table officially. And on table number 3, it was Johan Sevaux against Matthew Pope. And once again, we're waiting to hear who managed to take those games out as well. And as soon as we know, you'll know. So stick with us, my friends. And as the final two contestants in the quarterfinals put the finishing touches on their decks, let's have a look at what they could be, what we could be seeing here in the post-sideboard game number 3. Marcio Carvalho, his list here, a pretty standard-looking Mardu. I mean, you'd hope it was standard-looking. Wouldn't want it to be legacy-looking, would you? As we see, release the Gremlins as a 2 of Oath of Chandra. Oath of Liliana, Oath of Chandra, and Chandra Torch of Defiance, Shock, and Archangel Avison. All of 2-ofs. 1-ofs in the form of Anguished Unmaking, Painful Truths, and Walking Ballista for Marcio Carvalho. We've already seen many of these cards throughout this round so far. On the other side of the battlefield, as we have a look at what could be going on with this 4-color copycat list, not a huge amount of surprises here as we see what Miguel Castro is playing. 3 copies of Negate, 1 copy of Dispel to release the Gremlins, 2 Authority of the Consuls, and 2 Tireless Trackers. And then we've got 5 1-ofs, Natural State, Natural Obsolescence, Tameo Field Researcher, Sky Sovereign, Consul Flagship, and a Singleton Barral's Expertise. A really, really good way to dig yourself out of a hole, gain a bit of tempo, or push yourself further ahead. The triple unsummon in addition to a free card coming down if it costs 4 or less.
I think isn't it 3?
Might be 3 or less.
Fragmentize. Fragmentize is 4. Are you talking about natural?
No, I'm talking about Barral's Expertise. Natural State, just above it in the deck list here. Yeah, it's 4 or less. Natural State is 3 or less, of course, and you're absolutely right. Fragmentize 4 or less.
Yeah, Bar Expertise 4.
Yep. So these players here putting the finishing touches on their shuffling. All the best of shuffling coming from Barcelona this weekend. Very proud to present it, of course, in conjunction with the games themselves. That'd be a highlights reel I'd like to see.
Which one?
The best of shuffling
Best
over
of
the
shuffling?
history of Magic coverage.
Yeah.
Flips, tricks,
10 minutes of shuffling.
dropping cards.
10 minutes of shuffling, that would
magical.
Be great.
Yep. The big shuffle, the trick shuffling, shuffling under the arm, juggle shuffling, of course. But right now it looks like both of these players playing it pretty conservatively, although Marcio Carvalho, he's shuffling in a way that he's sort of presenting the back of his cards to his opponent. I'm a bit concerned about that.
We have results.
Oh, we do. Matej Zadelkai leaning in here to give us a clearer picture of how things have panned out on the other tables. So as we saw, Peter Securek going up 2 against 1 here to Federico Del Basso. We have Matthew Pope going down to Yuan Sevor, 2-0, so a straight sets win for the Frenchman there. And Inigo Vallejo has got up against Mikhail Lipinski, so Lipinski finishing strongly in the Swiss, not able to convert it here.
Yeah, that's Johan's 7th win today. 7th win today. He was X2 going today too.
Is that right?
Yep.
And he's just crushed it all day long.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was 7-2.
Yeah, could very well be.
Maybe he was 8-1. I think it was 7-2.
Well,
not sure.
In any way you slice it, he's made his way through to the semi-final, so congratulations to him, joining Inigo Vallejo and Peter Securek. But now it's all about Miguel Castro and Marcio Carvalho as we are off to the races for our final game of the quarterfinals here at GP Barcelona. Miguel Castro starting off with an Attune with Ether. Snag himself a basic land, gain 2 energy. A good start from him. We'll see what Carvalho has to answer it here. Seems to be a fair few lands in the hands of Carvalho. I can see at least 4 there. And both players playing with the same colour sleeves. Be very careful they don't do the old switcheroony with the decks at some point.
So just a quick stat for you. Out of the first 3 matches, Mardu is down, 0-3.
Oh, really?
Yep.
We've had copycats
so
get up and
Michel with Mardu lost 2-0 to Inigo.
So the only Mardu vehicles deck remaining
that's Marcio.
Is the one on your screen.
Yeah.
Attune with Ether number 2 now for Castro as he plays a Spire Bluff Canal. And it's back to Carvalho, who again is holding a grip that seems to have a fair few lands in it. And we're going to see, oh, look at this. This is a card that we haven't seen a huge amount of so far this weekend. The Veteran Motorist has sort of fallen out of favour because of the addition of Walking Ballista to the decks. There is the Veteran Motorist. Really handy creature to chuck inside of something like a Heart of Kieran, of course. And the Scry, also very useful for a deck that doesn't have much in the way of selection or filtering in any other case. Castro's third turn is going to see the old Slap Chop come down, the Rogue Refiner. It slices and dices and does it all. There is the Rogue Refiner.
Is it trading time?
We'll see what Carvalho makes of this situation. He's already gained a card from it. And yeah, look at that. A slam snap trade there. As Miguel Castro very, very happy to get that veteran motorist off the battlefield. Thalia is going to put some more pressure on Castro here. Another 3-2 coming down. This one with first strike and a very relevant ability.
Yeah, Martial's hand is... It's actually pretty bad. He has 3 lands, Avacyn, 4 lands, Avacyn, and a Scrap Heap Scrounger.
The Oath of Chandra, however, protecting Castro from the Heretic Cathar. And Castro up to 7 energy now. Carvalho not with a great hand.
Well, now he got a Ballista, but his hand is not great, no.
No, it looks like a lot of lands and not too much action, as we see now a Scrap Heap Scrounger come down. Going to join that with something else here. Again, Marcio Carvalho's hand looking a little bit like a ham sandwich at this point.
Which means good or not?
I would say not good.
Okay. Oh, ham sandwich is not good?
Actually, a ham sandwich is pretty good.
So it doesn't look like ham sandwich.
No, it doesn't look like a ham sandwich, actually. Miguel Castro. His hand looking a little healthier. 6 cards in hand, I believe. Could be 5. He's whipping them around nice and quick. No, it is 6. 5 now with the Attune with Ether, but then back up to 6. Look at that. Playing with our hearts. Miguel Castro, my friend. 3 copies of Attune with Ether already resolved for him, so he's thinning his deck out nicely, gaining that energy, keeping that velocity going here as we move now into the middle of the game. And Carvalho failing to put on a huge amount of pressure early on. Castro has had the answer at every point. Rogue Refiners, Attune with Ethers. These cards ensure that the 4-color deck is usually in possession of a full grip. And Castro says go.
Another land from Marcio. Every land now is just
dead ski.
Dead ski, yeah.
Just a dead ski. A real blank ski off the top there for Carvalho.
If Avacyn makes it to the end,
yeah.
Like if Miguel does not have an answer to Avacyn, then it might just be good.
Well, it could be enough for Carvalho here.
But that's really Marcia's only out.
So we see now 5 mana, 4 cards in hand,
and he just
got to
hopes,
smell it coming here.
He just hopes it's going to go all the way because he doesn't have many options here. What can Miguel have with 5 mana and passing the turn?
Archangel Avacyn. He's going to come down here.
Yeah, there's the Harness Lightning. Yeah.
Harness Lightning in response to the trigger. Miguel Castro in possession of 1,000,000 energy, so he's able to dispatch that Avacyn without an issue.
Release the Gremlins.
That's another blank ski here. Carvalho failing to find any pepperoni off the top of his deck.
Yeah, Miguel does have Release the Gremlin as well.
And now in for 3 with this Scrap Heap Scrounger here. A follow-up play for Carvalho. It could be the Walking Ballista, and it is indeed the Walking Ballista. Just for 2. Did have the option of doing it for 3. Chose not to. There is the Ballista that has altered the landscape of Standard in a major way here, I think it's fair to say.
So now probably release the Gremlins for 2.
Interesting that Carvalho chose not to do it for the Ballista for 3 here, despite having nothing in his hand at all. He's looking to represent something.
So he's going to kill, he's going to kill the Scrape Scrounger, and therefore the release Gremlins is not going to make any tokens.
So by doing 2 damage to the Scrap Heap Scrounger, it actually countered the Gremlins there, and Carvalho brings back the Scrounger almost immediately by exiling the Veteran Motorist.
Another land and no dude land.
No creature land here for Carvalho. He's the top of his deck is not being very kind to him, but Castro at this stage as well is not putting anything on the board. He needs to find some kind of pressure because at this stage the Scrap Heap Scrounger is just chipping away for 3. So both of these players here kind of running out of resources. And here's an Oath of Nissa. This should find some action, you would hope.
We have an update on the scores. Johan actually lost to Matthew Pop.
Matthew Pope, yeah.
Pop. So it's not gonna be for copycat decks. So Mardu made it. One Mardu made it too.
All right, so it could be up to 2. Could be an even split if Carvalho gets up. Otherwise, Castro is going to be flying the flag
but it doesn't
for the
look
copycat
like it because Marcio is carefully keeping his 3 cards. Oh, did he draw like a License Disintegration?
Castro down to 5. Will of Virtuoso the play.
I didn't see Miguel's life to be so low.
Yeah, it's gone down
He took a lot of
swiftly.
hits.
Yep.
But now he has like access to four tokens.
Yeah, he can come up the ground and the air pretty swiftly here without too much nonsense.
Look at his face.
Unlicensed Disintegration there.
He feels...
And we immediately see 4 Thopters slammed into play here.
When I was saying look at his face, because it becomes all red.
Yeah.
He's... Oh,
wow. Unlicensed Disintegration off the top as well. Carvalho, we talked about his deck not treating him very kindly, but he is now finally ripping that pepperoni off the top of his library here.
I thought he had a Filler Guardian, but he did not.
And we have a look at that, a winning the game in with an enormous amount of style there. Release the Gremlins for $500,000, and look at Castro's face. A regretful smirk there, as he can't believe the way that Carvalho was able to win there.
Yeah,
he had the Unlicensed Disintegration as well. That game was just Carvalho all the way by the end of it.
He drew lands after lands after lands, and still got out like with this Crabby Scrounger, just this one. Sometimes you see Mardu like playing a bunch of stuff, bunch of threats, and getting there easily.
Well, a little bit of luck favouring the Portuguese player here, and a rueful, regretful face on Castro there. He seemed to be in a very commanding position, but I mean, let's be fair, his deck also not treating him very well.
Yep.
So, 2 copies of Mardu, 2 copies of Sahili going through. That means that we once again have an even split for the finals. You'll be in the capable hands of Richard Hagen and Matej Zalakai for that, my friends. So stick around. The semi-finals of GP Barcelona.